The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Cali Sportsman, WDC is now on your radio. Coming live from the Bay, yeah, that way. They talk sports all day, LA. Dropping knowledge, high school, college, trying to score play by play. NFL, NBA, NHL, that's right, you name it. They gon' bring it to you live. Talking sports and entertainment. From the famous and the, you name it. Cover all sports from the foot.
You know how you be reading stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Alright, good evening. Welcome to Sports Selective TV. I'm your host and moderator. I'm Ferran, aka WDC. I want to thank you for listening in. As always, we have a very spectacular, important show for you right here on Morris Media Live, Monday at 5 o'clock. Make sure you go to our social media. Instagram is at Sports Selective Media. Also on Facebook. If you've been checking the social media, we got Chasing the Hoop Dream segment. We got some community outreach. But at the top of the hour, we're going to start off with the PACRim. This is week 5 for PACRim. I missed last week, but Cali Sportsman was there. So this time I'm out there with the Battle of the Undefeated. And so it was Team Wavy versus the Halo 3s. So I go out there with my cameras and I'm filming the game. And, based off of who's the player of the game, I interview that player. And so we found, or the player of the game was Amari Anarsari. He had 19 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. He was on the Halo 3. For me, it started off kind of for the Team Wavy because number 33 and number 7, which I found out were brothers, were balling pretty good. And so number 33, his name is Melvin. He started off scoring all the baskets for Team Wavy. And then I saw his brother, which is a little bit more huskier. His name is Mark. Mark was getting the boards. So I was already in my mind like one of them is going to be player of the game if they win. However, when Amari showed up, he took the game over. Young guy, short kid, and plays basketball, 24-hour fitness. So he's out there just having fun, going to school to be a doctor. So I got his interview and I got some highlights. So I'm just going to play it right now. This is week 5 of the PACRim season, and we're just going to get right into it. It's at Nogales High School.
My name is Armor Ansari, and my Instagram is @Armor Studios.
Alright, so give me some basketball experience.
Hey, this is a big game, man. Yeah. Battle of the Undefeated. Both teams 4-0. So now we gotta move to the 5-0. We came out pretty strong out there. Being the small one on the court, I gotta get my shots up. Being small on the court, hey, they can't guard me, man. They can't guard me.
Give me some basketball experience, man. High school.
I don't have much basketball experience. I play at the gym, 24-hour fitness. Just get my runs in there. Get some workouts in, I played freshman basketball my first year, but, I was too small to go anywhere further than that, though.
That's all right. So, did you have a chasing hoop dreams? Like, what are you chasing?
Hey, man, doctor. Gotta be a doctor, man. Runs the family, man. You already know.
All right, so what brings you to PACRim?
Hey, man, just playing with my family, playing with my brothers, my cousins. It's always good. It's a good bonding experience, man. I get to use something I love and use my talents, too.
So what do you want to say to the generations behind you as far as their basketball? What are they going to chase? What do you want to tell them?
Hey, man, chase your dreams. Don't let anything stop you. No matter how small you are, you always have an advantage on the court.
All right, now let me see this shorts because you got player of the game.
Yes, sir. Hey, player of the game right here, you know.
So how you feel about getting player of the game?
Hey, man, it was expected. expected, man. Hey, I had to ball out there. You know, I did my best, and hey, you get rewarded.
Who do you want to thank on your squad, man? Who you want to say thank you?
You know, I want to thank my guards, the front court, Brian and Andre, for always throwing the ball. They always see me on the cherry pick wide open for a layup. Hey, man, they can't stop me.
What do you want to say about the PACRim League, man?
PACRim League is great, man. Every year, it's always getting better and better. More fun and fun. I love it.
So what's next for you?
What's next? You gotta win the championship, man. This don't mean nothing unless you win the championship.
All right, cool, man. Say your name and your social media again.
Armor Atari at Armor Studios, AAMIRSTUGIOS.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
Hey, shout us out. What's the count? I'm Ferran Dozier, a.k.a. WDC. I'm your producer, director, and host on Sports Selective Media. We got a segment called Chasing Hoop Dreams. If you want to be a guest and share your story, share your Chasing Hoop Dreams, make sure you go to Instagram at Chasing Hoop Dreams and send me a message. If you're playing in the PACRim Basketball League, you're going to see me out there with the cameras and the microphone. I'm looking for your story. I want to know what your... All right, welcome back. Again, this is PACRim segment, PACRim edition, week 5. Again, Battle of the Undefeated. So Halo 3 were the winners out of that. So they are still undefeated, headed for the championship. What do you want to say, man? I mean, you see, I know it's kind of different than the leagues you play in, you know, but not to compare. But what do you think?
He did what he had to do. Got the win. The energy clearly was there in the interview, so I'm guessing it was there in the game too. Yeah. So that's what you need to win.
How's it been for you? Give me some of your your basketball. Not all of it. We're going to interview you later on, but give me some of your basketball experience.
I've had some games that have gotten pretty intense like that. I in the P4E for sure. I play Monday, Tuesday night, so I'm playing competitive night, and I'm playing in the lower level,
the
but
open gym.
Still competitive both nights. Playing on Don's team, Don don't want to lose. So,
what?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Introduction.
I know. I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So introduce yourself so people can know who you are.
I'm Jonathan Givens, P4E representative. DJ.
All right. Don't give it all away. All right. So again, so we're gonna get with Don and find out what the schedule is gonna be for this coming Sunday. But again, make sure you go to PACRim to find out more about their league if you want to join. And make sure you follow us on Sports Selective Media and also at Chasing Hoop Dreams. And we do this segment. For me, is I want that background story of that regular, not want to say regular person, but that person who played basketball in high school, maybe growing up, and didn't make it to the pros, and find out what they're still chasing. These guys, like you said, playing 2-3 nights a week, you know, chasing something, whether it's just to be with the camaraderie or to get into the overseas play or to get that contract, you know, or to even try to get to the NBA. Whatever they're chasing, they're doing it for their kids, their children. I mean, there's so many reasons why these guys are chasing these hoop dreams. And for me, that's the kind of story I want, that relatedness, compelling, you know, behind the scenes story. So that's why we do that here. Shouts out to PACRim for sponsoring the segment. And so I'm out of here. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into the rest of the show. Shout us out. What's the count?
AskAlien.com. Media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskAlien.com.
Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. It was no smut on my rep.
Yeah, so my name is Ken Q. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I'm an empowerment speaker. I'm a youth advocate, and I'm a host. I do a multitude of different things. Event producer, spoken word artist. Got to plug that as well. So
so it's good to have these organizations that are creating events that are organically to be able to get people to socialize, to communicate, to talk. Where did you get all that mental toughness?
For me, it's been learned throughout trial and error, to be honest. About 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I made a decision, and I said I don't want to do anything that's not in alignment with my purpose. In order to reach purpose, you have to go through trial. So for me, I just learned to embrace the trial, and for me, my trial, my rock bottom was homelessness. So that gave me a whole nother level of mental toughness.
Voice out west, legendary self-made progress. Last time that I checked.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your health care. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh, man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the facts that if both parents have sickle cell trait, there's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org.
Coming to you live November 16th from the West Angeles Performing Arts Theater, it's Hope Arise, the musical, starring Rosemary Smith Coleman, Lamont A. Coleman of Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. A compelling story about Dee, a gritty 10-year-old from the Chicago South Side neighborhood who fights to evade a life of abuse, poverty, and despair by commandeering freedom and love from a family she seizes as her own. You don't want to miss Hope Arise. Get your tickets now at eventbrite.com or give us a call at 323-733-8707.
All right. Okay.
Give him a JPEG.
All right, welcome back to Sports Collective TV. I'm your host and moderator, Ferran, aka WDC. Again, if you need information about sickle cell trait, go to wdconsct.org. Very important. If you're a student athlete and you have this inherited gene, you could have some complications. There are risk factors from exercising, from playing sports. So make sure you check out wdconsct.org. All right, so you just seen the PSA, the commercial. I'm going to pass it to Cali Sportsman on the bounce pass so we can get this part 2 started.
Hey.
I never really look at myself for camera. Do you see yourself, Lamont?
Yeah, I see myself. Okay. I like to smile.
I like to see you in great lights.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Interesting story with this young man sitting next to me. I'm practicing on my acting skills.
Don't
you know,
do that
somebody
right
might pick me up. Netflix, what y'all? I got all my teeth, everything. I'm sitting next to Lamont, y'all. I got all my teeth. I mean, I learned what a PDF is today, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not learned what a PDF is, it got columns. You know what I'm saying? Years of things if you have done in this world. And oh my God, I mean, talking about films and musicals and plays. You know, yeah, I'm Cali sportsman, but I was acting as Ask Ilya about a couple of days ago, and his wife called me, said, hey, can you help me with this great play, great musical play? I mean, we go out, we spend tons of money on great things like what we've been doing lately. We've been partying, we've been at parks, we've been Hollywood Bowl, we've been, you know what I'm saying? Now, little warm food and little learning about our culture, learning how we going to develop and come together, and just other pieces of us need to be established. And, you know, I'm saying a lot, and I'm going to cut it in a minute, because to know Lamont and to know your travel, I got to hand it off to you, because I really want people to understand what is Hope Arise and get them the elevator speech on who you are, because I learned what a PDF is. You pull up his PDF, the man got some accomplishments.
Only if he emails it to you, though.
Yeah, I got it. I'm going to get mine autographed. So, but welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
And it's a pleasure meeting you, someone from my hometown, Oakland. You know, it's, again, I'm happy to find a fellow Oakland person with me, because you know where we came from.
Right.
And being here, it's been a long journey. But again, what I've been trying to share is where I came from. And with this piece, Hope Arise, it's a piece, well, it's not based in, again, L.A. or Oakland, but it's in the south side of Chicago. And it's showing, again, with us, we like to show what life is about. And from there, we find God in the midst of it all, telling real stories. When I say real stories, again, people were coming from struggles, from difficult situations.
And, you know, we live in a society with so many social ills. We got homelessness. You got, I think, we was watching a commercial just most recently. I'm always looking at marketing. And there's this commercial of these people in the Middle East, and the kids are vanishing in the commercial. And my daughter, who's 9 years old, was like, well, what's happening? And I'm like, the kids are hungry. They're not there. They're dying because they're hungry. You know, it's so many epidemics. It's not only in our own community, but around the world. And this play is, you want to touch some souls in a very special way.
One thing, again, we're trying to get the young people. You see this young lady crafts here, but, you know, old people are already in the church. They ran to the church because they don't got that much time, and they know they got to get close to God. But a lot of young people, especially when I was young, we doing our thing, and we out there, you know, not thinking about the spiritual plight. With Hope Arise, we're showing that. Again, film, coming from San Francisco State, and film major.
And these are through actual stories, actual situations.
But film is a mirror of society. So we're trying to show them themselves and why they would. One of the big problems, again, when you're young, you ask, well, why we got all these churches on every street corner? And in the play, I'm a preacher. And I'm showing the reason why. The preachers were basically the first, I would say, community activists in the communities. And again, they were trying at that time, not with the big mega churches, and I'm not attacking the mega churches at all, but they were at that time because they were having so many ills and, again, fighting all the different social injustice.
But you know what? I have to kind of cut you off there. And this is kind of a PSA. I mean, if you look at most inner cities, it's a church on every block. Right. Most of them have the opportunity to be a nonprofit organizations to help the community.
Correct.
Right? So now churches, they communicate as a community as generations. After those generations, it's always my grandmother, my mother went to this church. My kids now go to this church. That's not happening anymore.
Correct.
People are seeing church from a different perspective. Does the play talk to people like that don't really looking at the church, but maybe needing that word more so?
It's dealing with people who don't even go to church, and they're going out there in the community. For example, I wasn't, when I was young, thinking running to the church house. I was going to the parties. I was enjoying myself. Church was the last thing. It's usually when something bad happens in your life, then you start thinking about somebody die. Oh, wait, maybe I need to get right with God. We're showing that, again, with, we got gangbangers happening. The young girl's mama got taken away. The father's beaten up. All those different things. And from her age, 10 years old, she learns that she needs God because she has nobody else helping her.
So you got this young man here. I mean, what is the ideas of the new heads that are running this new world we live in?
I feel like we all, because of the different churches and because we don't find ourselves stable in a church, especially if your parents are never around, or you have no one to talk to, we tend to raise ourselves. So I feel with Hope Arise, it's showing the plight of a young mother who's in that position to where she's now a mother of herself, but she's still young, and because she has no guidance, she's just been leading herself to what she felt.
I mean, you experienced that as a kid, where you had the key around the door of your neck and you came home, no one was at home.
Yeah,
but the community took care of you.
Yeah, the whole latchkey syndrome. But my conversation now as an adult and looking back, I was out of church for like 20 years. And then, like you said, unless something drastic happens to you, like my military career coming to an end, and then the depression and anxiety, whatever, all that stuff happens, and then all of a sudden you realize that maybe what happened to you is your purpose, or that struggle. So a lot of people don't realize that conversation that you have that you don't think nobody can connect to is actually could be your voice, and you could upheal, or actually at the end of the day, it's all about saving souls. So getting your life back together.
And see, we got that too. We got a young man just back from Afghanistan, and he's going through all the different things. And a lot of us can't relate because we never been to Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's why he's beating up on the one. I didn't want to tell the story, but that's what he's going through. So it's not really him as a bad person. It's because of society and the path he chose. And now he has to deal with some issues. He has to deal with life, like the movie Dead President. Everybody saw Dead President?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And again, that's a great movie too. They were just trying to survive. That's all that was happening.
So many epidemics. We got African Coalition is going to be here today. So many things that happen in our community, happen in our society. It's almost like, like with this film and this musical, this play, you got to just take a little piece of the world. And if you just took a little piece of the world, what does that piece consist of out of this musical?
Well, I think the main thing, what we're trying to say, the piece, is that we're giving a solution. We're not just also showing what's happening. We're saying, okay, this is what you need to do. Again, through the characters and through the piece, it's not just a preacher up there in the pulpit. He's out more in the community, talking and engaging these kids to the point that he's putting his own life on the risk. And again, when I say life, meaning challenging them. Like the streets of Oakland. He ain't saying, hey, hallelujah, praise you. He's like coming up and saying, what's up? And why you here? Why you standing in front of my church? This ain't going to happen.
Town business.
Okay, right. So he's handling like my father handled it. Military, coming like a man. Don't come at me this way. Okay, you might have your problems. You might be going through what you're going through. But number one, you got to uphold womanhood. You got to uphold manhood.
Well, we got this, second generation chemical dependent children. 7 out of 8 junior college kid is homeless. What's happening in the mental health side of this that is probably, could be very, very effective with this play and this musical, because it's working on the things that we don't ever really talk about as a community.
And again, we haven't experienced. Like, again, you got a lot of young, been into the military. They're out and they're trying to get back into society. And again, what they're going through, like we had 2 young men.
Is it that different?
It's different. It's difficult.
Is it really that different?
I have the actors in the play. They say, man, you guys, the writer, you hit right on the point of what I'm going through. I can feel myself through that young brother and what he's saying, because nobody knows what I went through in Afghanistan. And so it's touching with the social issues today, not the social issues yesterday. Again, with the mamas, and you see this, you got these mamas out there, and they still young girls.
How do you challenge the conversation from religious to relationship.
See, that's the difficult, but I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because, again, my father was a minister, and, again, I got all the clergy family around me. I have a problem is that, again, going by the definition, a simple one, that you're a shepherd, and you got this flock. Well, if the flock is so huge, how can you be a very effective shepherd? It was okay to have all those community churches. It just needed, again, more effective pastors in there, having a one-on-one relationship, because it takes, again, when they talk about the school issues, the classroom's too big, and they need smaller classrooms. Then there's nothing wrong having all those small churches. You need effective preachers that were out there in the community, not just preaching to them, but out there saying, hey, okay, let's talk about what you're going through.
And leadership, what I'm learning now as I develop my relationship, leadership is not about leading people. It's about leading your conversation.
There you go.
So it's not about how many people you have in your church. How effectively are you impacting them if it's 100 people or 50 people?
But, so in simple math, in every situation, coming from a sales marketing perspective, you could put 10 people in the room, only 1% going to really perform. There's always that 1 to 2 percentile rate in everything we're doing.
But see, again, too, but someone had to nurture that 1 to 2%. You got these churches so big, you can't even get to the man of God. Yeah. And you're not going for the man of God, don't get me wrong. But you do want somebody you can mentor to.
So say that. Let's stop there. Mentor. And, this subject has come up, especially with now the current president and issues we have in our worldly world. Now, looking at the fact that, like, LA is very multicultural, so it's a lot of different cultures that are African descent. Right? But who speaks on their behalf?
Okay, now, see, that's another issue. We had in the days back, well, I don't want to say on my age, but we had King, we had Malcolm. Okay, we were starting to have that leadership. We don't have that anymore. Right. And we do need that as
when you got a lost church and you have no leadership, ain't that a fumble?
Then who does the young person look up to? Who do you go to for wise counsel?
But then again, if you go back to the religious aspect of it, a lot of pastors was worried about, or not want to say worried about, but teaching getting to heaven versus being here on earth so we could do the work that needs to be done here. So the conversation...
And don't get me wrong, we talk about that too.
Switched.
Maybe some of the pastors needed to learn how to teach before they started to preach. Mm-hmm. And then from there, through the word, it will heal people. So right now, you didn't need to get out there talking about, the prosperity doctrine, or I need to worry about the huge church.
Right.
You needed to really worry about, I just want to have a conversation with this young man and what's on his mind, what's on his heart, and how can I help you in your endeavors? Let me share some wisdom. That's what we used to do. Some wisdom of what I go through so he doesn't have to go through it. But if you can't talk to nobody, when you go to the church, you can't even get to the man of God, then who do you talk to when you came from homes and you didn't have the mother or the father?
That goes back to that environment. And again, if you understand human function, there's a break in communication with your child and the parent.
Correct.
Automatically. It's
natural.
It's a natural break. So and the parents don't know that the break happens.
And that's what we got to teach them, because they're going to go to someone else. They're going to seek someone else.
Right, exactly.
And that's just normal. Exactly. And you better hope you put them in an environment with people who understands that too and will be proper, men of God or a wise counsel.
So I grew up in church, again, with my whole, from the little child up until 21, joined the military, and it was like religious. Can't have the rap music, so I had to pick one. So I was like, I take the music, right? I'm out. But then again, 20 years passed, and then my episode happened, and then when I get in my education, it says, so after you realize all the stories you made up about yourself was made up, now what? Right. Well, why are you here? What's your purpose? Right. So where did I go? Back to the Bible. Because my upbringing was all Bible principles and going to church. Right. So I didn't go to Buddhism or anything like that.
Can we give it a different word though?
Okay.
I like this word.
Okay.
Because I only believe in one God.
Okay.
So my thing is moral compass. It's always about the moral compass. Everybody at the end of the day, I come from Mary Ann Wright, the Mother Wright Foundation of Oakland. Is all about right and wrong. And ain't no in between, ain't no shady area. And that's where I'm lost, is where, how do people just assume that there's no right and wrong, or what has happened over the years to where we don't even deal with that. The right and the wrong.
But who's giving the moral compass? Who's the only one doing that? Is the church. You can't get it in school because the school's too took that out. So and then they're learning from their peers how to act and what to behave. Because you showed in the household.
You can't
if
go
you were
by
trying.
right or wrong.
So
because Hitler thought he was right.
So who's the
you
moral
can't
compass?
go by right or wrong. Because Hitler thought what he did was right.
Let me just...
And from their perspective.
Exactly.
From their perspective. And all the people believed in that leader from that perspective. Like Donald Trump.
Let's take the Donald Trump and just look at the same sexual harassment. It's from their point of view. It's from their point of view.
But here, this is where I get on them. But then you saw who he had, the religious right. Those people are sitting there a little bit hypocritical. Because if you're standing on the morals that you're supposed to stand on, knowing that the man did wrong and right, then you don't supposed to be confused the people that are following you, which is the Christian people. They did that in this past election.
That's what
they got to deal with.
Another show. And Lamont is coming on. Are you coming on next week?
Right, I have a problem talking about
Rosemary, we need him back. I know we got to take a quick commercial, but we want to throw up the play because we got to sell tickets. You see how phenomenal my day has been. I read a PDF and realized who I was sitting to, and it's just amazing to have you guys here. I want to definitely make sure you guys get out and see this play. It's up on the board right now. We're gonna definitely get some more social media on this because this is a topic, as you can see, could just take off.
I got one more question to ask him before we go to break. At the end of the day, the people that watch this film, what do you want them to take away from it?
And like you said, the moral compass. It's not about the politics. It's not, again, we're getting caught up into the religion. Again, Christ came and he just showed as an example how to live. And the major rule he gave was to love one another. Right. Okay? We don't see that anymore. We're now under a president that has, again, a hate factor. Do whatever you have to do for yourself. That's a businessman. No, we need a person that has some love. We need a teacher. We need whatever you want to call it, a rabbi, preacher, but someone is giving out love to people. Love conquers all.
And the flip side of that is the people who are out maybe want to create a play or do have the courage to even come out and have a conversation like this on film. What do you want to say to that community?
I say this, biblical films, Coleman Smith, we've been around since 1996. Again, I've been working with everybody from Roger E. Mosley to Roger P.
Here we go. That's a PDF, y'all. Get a PDF.
Tyler Perry, Has and Has Not. I'm Reverend Waters, so you can see me on the Hulu and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say, I want to work with the community. I want people to come. Like Tyler just said, he just made his studio, and I've been to Mr. Perry's studio. But I saw also when I went to Atlanta where he started from, and then when he went to this next one, and he had to get help from Oprah, and now he has the military base. Well, hey, we also here have a channel. It's on the back of the postcard, which is the BFN app, and it's a channel. This channel has been funded by us as a community for all these different people giving back, working with us, and I encourage everybody.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop right there because you the first time you've been here, right?
Yes.
What do you think as a phone call away from coming to LA, a #1 market, and getting on the mic, talking about something you're doing just from a friendly gesture?
I love talking to my people. My wife tells me to stop talking so much sometimes, but I love talking. And again, as a student body president of San Francisco State, student body president of James Logan High School, student body president of Alvarado Middle, I want to run for governor in the future. I want to work with my people. That is my goal.
Let's get out of here.
I want to work with my people.
Hey,
put your stamp on it.
Hey, let's take this quick break because we got 2 more segments left. Thank you for coming out.
Both
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so next week
I'm here. Just give me a call.
Same time, same channel.
You know the boss lady.
All right, okay.
All right, so we're going to take this 20-second time out. We're going to take a break. Again, hit us up, Sports Collective Media, Facebook, and Instagram. Shout us out.
Coming to you live November 16th from the West Angeles Performing Arts Theater, it's Hope Arise, the musical, starring Rosemary Smith Coleman, Lamont A. Coleman of Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. A compelling story about Dee, a gritty 10-year-old from the Chicago South Side neighborhood who fights to evade a life of abuse, poverty, and despair by commandeering freedom and love from a family she seizes as her own. You don't want to miss Hope Arise. Get your tickets now at eventbrite.com or give us a call at 323-733-8707.
AskAlien.com. media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskElia.com.
Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. It was no smut on my rep.
Yeah, so my name is King Q. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I'm an empowerment speaker. I'm a youth advocate, and I'm a host. I do a multitude of different things. Event producer, spoken word artist. Got to plug that as well. So
so it's good to have these organizations that are creating events that are organically to be able to get people to socialize, to communicate, to talk. Where do you get all that mental toughness?
For me, it's been learned throughout trial and error, to be honest. About 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I made a decision, and I said I don't want to do anything that's not in alignment with my purpose. In order to reach purpose, you have to go through trial. So for me, I just learned to embrace the trial, and for me, my trial, my rock bottom was homelessness. So that gave me a whole nother level of mental toughness.
Voice out west, legendary self-made progress. Last time that I checked, first
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh, man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Yeah. Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn, are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the facts that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait? 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org.
Coming to you live November 16th from the West Angeles Performing Arts Theater, it's Hope, Arise, the musical, starring Rosemary Smith Coleman, Lamont A. Coleman of Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. A compelling story about Dee, a gritty 10-year-old from the Chicago South Side neighborhood who fights to evade a life of abuse, poverty, and despair by commandeering freedom and love from a family she seizes as her own. You don't want to miss Hope Arise. Get your tickets now at eventbrite.com or give us a call at 323-733-8707.
Come on back.
All right, welcome back to Sports Active TV. Again, I'm your host, moderator, Front, aka WDC. We're going to get right into part 3 of today's episode, talking about e-cigarettes, vaping, lungs, youth. I mean, there's a lot of commercials I've seen dealing with that. I vape, so I'm definitely interested in the impacts and what the laws are talking about, and actually what the African Coalition has to say. So, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Lee James Gossett. I'm the project director of the program that we're here to talk about, which is called KOLS, keeping our lungs safe. Mm-hmm. The organization that I'm from is called the African Communities Public Health Coalition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Nicole Turkson. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with the KOLS program. Just a fancy word to say that, I reach out and talk to people and try to get them informed about our program.
And what's the overall, what you want people to know about the KOLS?
Keeping our lungs safe? Overall, what we want to do is we want to educate people on the harms of tobacco, including vaping. And we're doing that in several different ways here in Los Angeles. We're doing that just by going out and doing just, education on the ground level. Doing that by educating property managers on the dangers of like secondhand and third-hand smoke, right? In our our churches and our mosques and our faith-based communities, we're doing that about educating people about secondhand smoke and stuff like that. And doing that on a legislation level and educating our legislators.
But they use this fancy word, education. So for people that's out there, specifically, what is that education? You know what I mean? Because we're talking about people making choices, and then you got people being influenced. You know what I'm saying? And you have big businesses that are being influencers, and then you have people who are making choices. So you kind of caught in between, some really big odds of just trying to... And then you got an existing generations of people that have actually been using something of another that has not been healthy for them. So what's the big challenge?
The challenge is, and I'll let you speak on this a little bit, but the challenge is when you go out, you can't tell people not to do something. You don't want to go out and say, don't smoke, don't vape, right? You want to give them the reasons why. This is the...
So if you had to give them your top 5 reasons why not to, what would that be?
Well, we definitely have the obvious reasons, right? Smoking, traditional smoking, and now we're learning that e-cigarette and vaping is associated with disease. We have traditional cigarettes that cause all forms of cancer. The most popular one is lung cancer. That's the one that we directly associate with smoking. We have heart disease. We have stroke, which you're at a higher risk for if you smoke. E-cigarettes and vapes contain chemicals such as formaldehyde that are linked to cancer and other diseases. So there's so much debate about whether or not these devices are safer or if people who smoke traditional cigarettes can use them as an alternative. But, it's kind of like, do you really want to be the guinea pig for these new devices and then maybe 30 years from now find out that they're not?
But you have a number that exists, 45,000, right? 45,000 African-American people are affected with the illness yearly. Is that a yearly?
They're gonna die from a smoking related illness every year. Absolutely.
So is the vaping cigarette vaping, or is that CBD weed vaping? Is that all considered vaping, or is you talking about just
the apparatus, or it's the content in the apparatus?
It's so the content. The content is pretty simple, right? We know the content.
We know the content. So, Tiger, how you floating? But
so we know the content that's going in there. The problem is, just like a cigarette, once you light it, once you heat the vape, the chemicals turn into something different. Right. You know what I mean? And then the chemical that you blow out it's more different than what you've taken in.
So you actually got 2 parts, because you got the person that's taking it and then the person that's inhaling it.
Right.
So I think it was some other initiatives that we've actually heard that talk about secondhand smoke could be just as effective. Is there like 3 things that is happening that is most effective in the secondhand smoking?
So with secondhand smoke, we're actually doing a lot of work with multi-unit housing, so with apartments and condos, trying to get laws passed that will make it, illegal to smoke in these complexes to limit people's exposure.
So that means people have like a community area that if they smoke?
So try to take it
restaurants?
off the premises altogether.
Wow.
So in housing facilities, traditionally people feel like, I already can't smoke, in the restaurant. I can't smoke here, there. I should be able to smoke in my home, or at least in an approved common area in the building. But the smoke drifts, right? It enters through people's vents, cracks in the wall, pipes. And third-hand smoke is actually the residue that remains after the smoke has diminished, which is still just as toxic to your body if you're exposed for a long time.
When you share advocating with the community, right, and you're interacting with them, do they explain why they even smoke? Like, do they get to that deep to you?
A lot of people use it as a coping mechanism
right.
for whatever is going on in their life.
Right, exactly.
So a huge part of what we're trying to do is also provide resources, not just, the patches, the gum, the pills, or whatever, but like emotional support that people might need in order to have the real fortitude or the strength to give up that habit.
Because a lot of times, nowadays I'm learning, even like I said, developing myself as a 49-year-old, you got to look at the consequences, right? And a lot of times we don't look at the consequences, So I tell my daughters now, like, you could do whatever you want, but then you've got to also evaluate the consequences. Right. And if you're good with the consequences,
down the line,
and then talk to people who've experienced that to see what their consequences were,
and sometimes
before you actually go and do something.
Yeah, sometimes we learn in different ways. Like, you just can't have dessert no more. Your body just don't react the same. Or you can't do certain exercises anymore because your body don't act the same. And a lot of that is your input. Early in your age. We got to get to another segment. We want to appreciate you guys having you. More than welcome to come back next week as well.
Yeah.
They just need some social media stuff so that people kind of know how to reach out to you and your initiative, if it's getting on the ballot, or just give people more information.
Do you have an email or phone number you can give out right now?
Sure. Well, our website is africancoalition.org. And if people want to get in contact to find out how they can help with the Keeping Our Lungs Safe initiative, they can contact me at LJGOSSETT. That's LJ Gossett at africancoalition.org.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Did you ever smoke?
I did. And how did you know?
I'm just asking.
You're like, I ain't smoked in years.
I just wanted to find out if this was personal. Like a lot of times, again, people's life experiences don't realize that you can go back and educate people because you learn maybe whatever got you to do this.
Absolutely, yes. I smoked for 24 years.
There you go. See, so obviously So now you speak from experience, not just come and join this campaign, but now you can actually give your personal.
Absolutely,
it's a wrap.
All right.
Yeah.
So you want to take us to commercial? We ain't never had a pretty face take us to commercial.
Do that?
Just say, hi, I'm such and such from African Coalition. It's been great being here at Sports Collective Media.
We'll be right back.
And we'll be right back.
Okay. So do I just go right now?
You can go right
okay.
there.
Hey, y'all. It's Nicole with African Coalition and KOLS. It's been awesome being here today, and we're going to a commercial break.
Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. It was no smut on my rep.
Yeah, so my name is King Q. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I'm an empowerment speaker. I'm a youth advocate, and I'm a host. I do a multitude of different things. Event producer, spoken word artist. Got to plug that as well. So
so it's good to have these organizations that are creating events that are organically to be able to get people to socialize, to communicate, to talk. Where do you get all that mental toughness?
For me, it's been learned throughout trial and error, to be honest. About 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I made a decision, and I said I don't want to do anything that's not in alignment with my purpose. In order to reach purpose, you have to go through trial. So for me, I just learned to embrace the trial, and for me, my trial, my rock bottom was homelessness. So that gave me a whole nother level of mental toughness.
Voice out west, legendary self-made progress. Last time that I checked.
All right, welcome back to Sports Active TV. Again, thanks for listening in. Make sure you go to our social media at Sports Active Media, Facebook and Instagram. Shouts out to Fredo in the back, helping us out. A lot of community outreach, a lot of stuff going on in the community, but we're going to go back into some basketball with the Chasing the Hoop Dream segment officially. Shouts out to P4E Don for setting us up with our guest, John. So, John, you was here earlier. You saw the highlights of the PACRim. Give me some of your, or how about reintroduce yourself, and then we'll get started. How about that?
Well, I'm Jonathan Givens, P4E representative for a few years.
Okay. So, give me your basketball experience growing up.
I played as a kid. I played in high school. Mm-hmm. Maybe about 2 years high school, freshman, sophomore, and then I started running track.
Track.
So I ran track in college.
Okay, so basketball Any other sports as growing up? Football?
I was in band. I had the choice. My dad wouldn't let me do too much because I wasn't that kind of student. But it was like you could play football and basketball, or you could be in band. And because band and football went against each other.
Because you had to be on the you had to be at the game.
I played basketball and I was in the marching band.
Marching band.
Yeah.
I was in a band at Fairfax for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you like being in the band?
Band was cool. I mean, I had been in a band in elementary. Bellflower School District has a good program that builds you from elementary all the way to the high school level. So
you drumline material?
Nah. I didn't. I played brass instruments.
You played brass?
I played trombone, tuba. Yeah,
you got your lungs built up.
Yeah, I didn't play no percussion.
No percussion. I was a percussionist.
Yeah.
So you got basketball, into track.
Yeah.
So what was that track life like?
Track was cool. I happened to be fast. I found out, running a mile to try to play basketball, that I could run a little bit. Then I started to run like the end of my junior year. Ended up going all the way to like CIF.
No kidding.
Yeah, first year. Only ran a few meets, and then my senior year, since I did so well, I ran cross country. So I didn't play football, basketball, nothing. Track. I ran cross country, and then I ran track.
So what was your meets? What did you
400, 800.
400, 800.
Yep.
Well, you long distance ran. Jeez.
Yep.
Natural.
Maybe. I didn't do too bad.
How important is hydration? I advocate for sickle cell trait, and we know that for people with trait, exertion can happen.
Yeah.
So how was your hydration? How you maintain your water?
You know what? My diet was not the priority. I was running off a lot of just pure talent.
Yeah. Did it ever catch up with you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like now, I know when I'm not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Like my body don't react the same as it did back in the day. But for sure, I wish I was a bit more on top of it back then.
So obviously, you have still some chasing hoop dreams after playing basketball in high school, and now as an adult, you're in the adult leagues. So what's your chasing hoop dreams?
It's more just that competitive feel that you get when you compete. Mm-hmm. That I kind of stay in it for.
Yeah.
For sure to try to stay in shape, but I don't got no overseas dreams or like Buddha trying to be 36 and
hey, we got a Buddha fan in here, so be careful.
Playing in the tournaments at 36 and 37 and trying to
they
run time back.
Yeah, they chasing it. So for you, obviously, when did the music come in? Because you're a DJ.
The music. I mean, ever since I was in a band doing that whole music thing, that was kind of there from the start. And then I went to Cerritos, and then I went to a school in Iowa I was running track at.
Okay.
And that my whole track, that whole time period of running track, I kind of was away from the whole music scene. So
you went to college running track?
Yeah, I went to college running track.
How was that transition for college as a track star?
Everybody got faster.
Yeah.
So like
different era.
In high school,
yeah.
I could safely say like, yeah, I'm the fastest guy in this event on my team.
Right.
I'm top 2 in the league. Like,
right.
I'm competing with the best of the people.
Right. Until
in college, your whole team is the best of the people.
Right.
And everybody's just there. And your best guy is like he's serious.
Yeah.
So it gets a lot harder in college more than anything. You got to be a bit more focused.
So I was going to ask, where do you equate your mental toughness to? Family environment, growing up in your neighborhood, or that whole athletic piece? Like,
I've kind of always been a little bit strong in the head, I guess. Got in a lot of trouble as a kid. Got a lot of butt whoopings.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. So
testing to see how far you could go.
I was testing all the limits, so that kind of came natural.
Yeah,
I evened out. I evened
So
out.
your parents instilled that mental toughness, or your environment?
Environment.
Where'd you grow up at? What part of the city?
Bellflower, Lakewood area.
So, what do you want people to know about Bellflower? Because it's like right in the middle of Long Beach. Like it could be kind of crazy in Bellflower back in the day.
Bellflower is its own city.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was ever crazy.
Yeah.
But it's for sure you get a lot of people from the outside areas that kind of
migrate
come together.
Right.
So it's pretty dense. I mean, I went to Mayfair High School and we got athletes to this day.
Still.
Oh, it's a dude at Mayfair right now that's probably like top 20 in his class.
Wow.
Easy. Like, no questions asked. And then they got a few other people, but a lot of people that I went and played basketball with coming up from Mayfair in that area still play. Play overseas.
Yeah.
Play top level basketball. So.
Anything about track you still do today?
I watch it. I just watched the World Championships.
You're not out there?
I watched Kipchoge break 2 hours in the mile.
Oh, you saw that?
2 hours in the marathon.
Yeah, the marathon. You saw that?
That's serious.
Yeah,
that's like
fast.
That's more than fast. Like,
give me some. So I have a segment that I've done called DJs with a Cause.
Yeah.
So what is your music? What do you care about in the community?
One thing that, as far as DJing goes, when I do parties and stuff, trying to get the younger community to kind of spark back into that dance feel, because it's starting to get lost.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, you come to a party and people dance. Like you don't have. They might stand on the wall a little bit, but they came with intentions. Like, I'm coming with intentions to dance. Like, I see this girl that I like, I want to dance with her. I see this guy I like, I want to dance with him. But now with the kids, the intentions and the music doesn't really favor it either.
Right.
A lot of the new age music doesn't favor that kind of vibe.
So when you put on at the parties, what's your go-to songs? You got 3 songs that people get up, they off the wall?
It depends the age group.
Oh, okay.
I mean, universally, you could do a Cupid shuffle. That's a universal, everybody get up and dance.
Yeah.
But you got to play it by the age group, play it by the crowd.
Yeah.
And to figure out what song is the song. But I could get you up for that song, but can I keep you there?
Right.
That's the challenge of DJing, trying to figure out your crowd and figure out what's going to work for them to reach the goal. Because most people book me with intentions of, I want people to dance.
Right.
And then they give me a music selection idea that doesn't favor that.
Right.
And it's like, you want to dance, but this is what you want to hear,
right?
And that doesn't achieve this.
So do they allow you to create that from there?
Well, I mean, I have meetings prior.
Yeah.
Because I take my business serious,
right.
So I have meetings and we go through that, and I let them know, like, that might not get it, but this might, and we could try to maybe work it all out so that you could get that full circle and still get the outlook to come out how you want it to.
Have a nice party. What do you want to say about P4E? You said you played in that league for a few years. They're very spiritual. So what do you want to say about the league?
P4E is a good league. I maybe three solid years I was heavy. Every Monday, every Tuesday. This past season I kind of been away for a little bit DJ wise, because I'm trying to get my business to get a little bit tighter. But P4 is a good league, a lot of good athletes. If athletically, it for sure is advanced now.
It's not no church league.
When I first started, it was a church league.
Oh, it was a little bit.
When I first started, it was, and that was about the last season where it was like that, and then that next season, things started to evolve. And now it's like, you go to P4E and you got to watch your head, because you might get dunked on,
Before you go, your spiritual background, is that connected?
I grew up in church. I met Don, actually. We were going to the same church. I was involved in that church.
Wow.
And he saw some leadership skills in me, and invited me to take a greater role in the P4E. Was playing bass at the church, involved in the music at the church. Still involved, not at that current church, but still involved at another church. So I'm involved for sure.
You plan on going back to the P4E League one day?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Once I get the time, it's hard. It's hard to manage work and your volunteer hours.
Yeah,
but for sure, once I get established, when I get the time, like the free time, for sure, drop in because I enjoy watching basketball. Period.
Yeah,
like whether it's P4E or it's Drew League or it's the NBA.
Yeah,
like I'm a basketball fan. So
I mean, so I've listened to your conversation. I mean, if there's a program that you could create that could reintroduce this type of music to youth, man, I think that might be a good look. You know, getting those youth back into that old school dance type of feel.
You know, well, the way I see it is that the music kind of comes full circle. Mm-hmm. So it's only a matter of time before people start to create stuff that swings it back into that kind of mood. But yeah,
you bring your own setup.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So you got your own speakers, turntables,
my own speakers, my own setup, everything, my own table. All
right, so let them know how they could reach out to you, man, for some business.
You can reach me at jgive23 and on Instagram, DJ_JAYGIVE on Instagram. You could message me for booking.
All of that
on
Instagram. Hey man, thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you. Again, this is Sports Collective TV, Chasing the Hoop Dream segment. We'll be right back we'll be back next week. So make sure you check us out on social media at Sports Collective Media. Shout us out, what's the count?
This segment was sponsored by P4E. Visit playingforeternity.com for more info and listen to their Selective Games live broadcast on Sports Collective Radio.